Hey, what's up gamers? You have Tiger Chainsaw here. And on Christmas of 2005, I found an Xbox 360 underneath my Christmas tree. It was from my mom and my stepdad, and it was really unexpected as I didn't ask for one, and I certainly didn't expect to find one underneath the Christmas tree. But there it was. And so I went on to play it for many years and enjoyed tons of games for this awesome console. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing hidden gems for this console. Now, if you love hidden gem videos, I do have a playlist dedicated to all of the consoles and all of the hidden gems that I believe are underrated for those said consoles. So check that out after this video. Now let's jump into Xbox's second home console and let's dive into some hidden gems for the Xbox 360. Kicking off this list is one of my favorite female characters on any Xbox game, and in fact this is an Xbox 360 exclusive. I'm talking about Bullet Witch on the Xbox 360. Okay, so don't get me wrong, this game is pretty rough around the edges as far as the graphics go, the fog effect as you're walking around the levels, the textures, and even the level sizes. But guess what? If you dig deeper into this game, you find it to be pretty fun with a sweet female character lead who is a total badass. In Bullet Witch, there's this apocalypse that has happened and you have to kind of save the rest of humanity that has been surviving the last couple years, and you take control of a witch who has a huge broomstick that also doubles as a machine gun. I thought that was crazy fun. The majority of the gameplay is going to be getting from point A to point B in a level, clearing out enemies, and you're going to be doing a lot of strafing from left to right, blowing enemies away. It's dumb fun, but it's fun, and it's a game that you can appreciate now and has since gained kind of a cult following, and I'm in that cult. I think that Bullet Witch is a really fun game. Let's discuss an IP that gets revived every decade or so. This game is going to be Conan on the Xbox 360. So do you feel like playing a God of War type clone? Well, look no further than Conan. It's a ton of hack and slash fun with some actually surprisingly solid voice acting. The graphics can be a little bit rough and the controls can be too, but if you're a fan of this IP or if you just feel like going through an adventure filled with different fighting styles and some great combos during the combat, Conan is a good choice that doesn't get talked about a lot. Now the storyline is a bit cheesy, but remember, you're playing this game for the fast-paced action. One of the most satisfying things that I enjoyed is slicing the enemies limb by limb. So if you love lots of gore, fast-paced combos, and an adventure where you can just button mash your way through it, well, Conan is going to get the job done, and you'll have plenty of fun doing that.
Prom judge you.
Coming up next on this list is one of the most hilarious games that I've played in a while, but I'm not sure it means to be hilarious. That's going to be Bound by Flame. Now I mentioned that it's hilarious, and in terms of humor, it's all done through the conversations that you have with the NPCs. So in this world, it's gonna be like a Skyrim or a Lord of the Rings in terms of setting, but the language and the way the characters talk to each other is hilarious. It's so R-rated and they insult each other all the time. They talk about their balls a lot, and if you know this channel, then you know that I'm probably gonna laugh at that. But getting past all the humor, it can be a solid video game. The combat is gonna be a little bit stiff and it's gonna be repetitive, and the final segments of this game can be super tough with how much health the enemies have, but overall this is a solid experience. If you're in the mood for an adventure where you are not just going to hack and slash your way through the levels, well, Bound to Flame does take a little bit of skill to get used to the combat. You need to parry, you need to use your shield, you need to use some magic, and of course, you need to use some weapons. Bound by Flame is a unique RPG that I don't think many people have talked about, and it's a hidden gem for me on the Xbox 360. But be warned, this is a tough game. Now, I have talked about a lot of hack and slash RPGs, but how about a stealth game set in World War II? That's going to be Velvet Assassin. Velvet Assassin stars Violet, who's a spy that must infiltrate Nazi encampments and pass along information to the Allies. Now, this is a difficult game, but if you like challenges, this can be a good experience for those who love stealth-focused games. One thing that this game does really well is the atmosphere. You're always on your toes and you're always just out of reach of danger. I thought the voice acting for Violet was pretty decent too, but now the shooting mechanics, that needs some work. I did not enjoy how the shooting worked in this game. But while the shooting needs to be refined, the story is pretty good, and it's one of the strengths in this game that helped me keep pushing forward to see what was next. Velvet Assassin, one of the coolest names of that generation, and one of the hidden gems on the Xbox 360. Okay, it is time for a JRPG that From Software developed. That's right, I'm talking about Enchanted Arms. Now, there are tons of RPGs that get lost into the sands of time, and I feel like Enchanted Arms is one of them. For the time, the graphics were great, and I really enjoyed the characters and the overall plot of this game. Now, strategy does play a big part, whether it's the team customization or the golems that you'll be able to choose from. The golems play a big part in this game and kind of act as an extension in your combat. There's also some very fun boss fights, but like most RPGs, expect to sink some time into this. It is a turn-based game too, which I personally love. If you want a longer game that has a old school JRPG feel, check out Enchanted Arms.
All right, rage and flare. Yeah.
Let's talk about one of the toughest bullet hell shooters on the Xbox 360. And right before you die, you'll smile. Well, maybe. I'm talking about Death Smiles. Yes, I know, Death Smiles has been ported now, but if you'd like to play it how it was originally created, Death Smiles on the Xbox 360 is an excellent bullet hell shooter created by Cave. Typically, I don't really like shoot 'em ups like this because they are meant to be replayed and replayed because of how short they are, but Death Smiles is so fun that I didn't mind it. The boss fights are super cool and the graphics are gorgeous. Underneath all of this crazy action on screen is actually kind of a touching story, and that's just a huge bonus for someone like me. If you're going to have a shoot 'em up, you also need a killer soundtrack. And I'm happy to say that Death Smiles does indeed have that. Pick this up and appreciate a rare physical Japanese bullet shooter on the Xbox 360. If you like shoot 'em ups, well, I'm not done just yet. And this is a game that the critics crapped all over. But guess what? I like it. And also guess what? I have a sealed copy of this as well. I'm not going to be able to pronounce the name very well, but I'm talking about Otomedius Excellent. Did you think we were done with shoot 'em ups? Well, I did too, until I played this game not too long ago, and I thought, this is a really fun game. Otomedius Excellent is not excellent, but it's not as bad as the critics say it is. It's got some beautiful graphics, and it just reminds me of a time of shooters in the arcade. One of my favorite things to do is level up characters in this game. Give me a game where you can level up and collect, and I'll play it. And guess what? You can collect in this game. You can collect upgrade cards and artwork of the characters, and if you didn't notice, these characters are pretty good looking. It kind of reminds me of Parodius with how weird it is, but guess what? I love weird games, and Otomedius Excellent is one of the weirder shoot 'em ups, but it's still a fun one. So I talked about a JRPG earlier that was developed by From Software, but how about a ninja adventure game that was also developed by From Software? Let's talk about Ninja Blade. Now I think this game is still stuck on the Xbox 360, so if you can, seek it out. Ninja Blade is an action-adventure game set in Tokyo that has been overrun by disgusting parasites. It has a lot of over-the-top action, as you'll be fighting monsters all over in modern Tokyo, and that was just a blast to do so. Some of these monsters are huge, but you know what's not huge? The story. And I think that's where this game kind of fell in the critical reviews. It's a short game, but it's fun and it's filled to the brim with action. It's not the most in-depth hack and slash action game, but sometimes the simple ones are just as good. It's very entertaining, and that's all I can do to ask my video games is to be entertaining and to be fun. And Ninja Blade checks both of those boxes when I played it. Check out this game for some insane boss fights, and you can cruise through it in a weekend. You know, me and my buddies were talking about video games recently, and we got to a series that none of us had played, and so I really wanted to check it out for myself, and I soon discovered it's a pretty fun series that nobody talks about. Let's start with the very first game, and that's going to be Risen. This is one of the most recent games that I've checked out, and I had a blast doing it. If you have the patience and you want to put in time and effort, I can recommend Risen. I don't say those things with a negative note, I just want you guys to know that this game is for those who want to be sucked into an RPG that can be pretty demanding. In Risen, you'll explore a big island with over 250 quests. That's a lot of RPGing, but it's fun, although you may run into some small glitches. If you like RPGs, I can recommend you this one, but if you don't, then maybe it's not for you. This is more for the old school RPG lovers that don't mind a little grinding and figuring out how to get past some elements in the game. Now, Risen is the first in the series, and it did go on to have 2 more sequels that I want to play soon. Alright, let's end all of the hidden gems on the Xbox 360 with this video game that would never be made in today's age. I'm talking about Rumble Roses XX. Now come on, who doesn't love a good bra and panty match in wrestling? Oh, they don't do those anymore? What a shame, but at least we have Rumble Roses XX. Do you want a wrestling game that doesn't hide what it is? Rumble Roses XX is the sequel to Rumble Roses, and no, it's not as polished, but there's plenty to enjoy about it inside the ring. The girls in the wrestling look gorgeous, and there are multiple modes to play through. But one of the bummers that I did have was the lack of story. That part does kind of suck because there's not really a story mode in this game. But the gameplay is very fluid, and each character has a lot to offer in terms of moves. You can unlock costumes for the characters, but it can be kind of a chore. So if you just want dumb fun and enjoy hot girls wrestling each other in skimpy outfits, well, Rumble Roses XX takes the belt. So there you have it, my list of Xbox 360 hidden gems. Which of them have you played, or which of them do you want to play now? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to watch plenty of other hidden gem videos that I have. Now, speaking of hidden gems, I did release one not too long ago for the original Xbox that you guys should definitely check out after this video ends. So, thank you for watching, happy gaming, and make sure you play a video game today.